All right, everyone, welcome to my SPTE 701 lecture project for Professor Koesters' summer 2026 management class. I'm Nick Mautone. I'm going to be teaching you guys today about some management stuff, specifically the 6 types of management theories. So all of these theories are a little different. Some of them are more similar to each other than others. The first 3 especially, there's a lot of similarities between them and some contrasts as well. So we're going to go over all of that today. We got the scientific method by Fred W. Taylor, the administrative theory by Henry Fayol, the bureaucratic theory by Max Weber, the human relations theory by Elton Mayo, the systems theory by Ludwig von Bertalanffy, I'm guessing is how you say that, and then the X and Y theory by Douglas McGregor. These theories were all developed within 100 years of one another, which I found pretty interesting. None of them are super old, dating back to some of the famous philosophers' time periods back in the 1500s, 1600s, and so forth. But we're going to go over all the differences today, and then I'll have a couple questions at the end of the lecture as well for everyone watching this. So we're going to start off talking about the scientific method. This was really the first type of management style that came about. It was developed by Fred W. Taylor, late 1800s, early 1900s, here in the U.S., and it's often called Taylorism, and you'll see that is kind of a trend for a lot of these. They're more so known as and referred to as the last name of their creator, as the philosopher who came up with these ideas and really, put this stuff into motion. So Taylor was a mechanical engineer by trade. That's what his background was in, and he was a mechanical engineer all throughout his life as well. He didn't stop to specifically start managing people, but this was one of the ways that he found the scientific method. It's things he found through managing teams of workers, assembling things like on the production line that worked, and he was able to put together this theory and share it with all of us. And this is really like the grandfather of management theories in a sense. This is the oldest one that we're covering in this lecture. All of these are going to be kind of in chronological order from when they were developed. But this theory was really crucial in the development of the production line. People like Henry Ford with the Ford Motor Company took a lot of inspiration and ideas from Taylor. I'll use car manufacturing as the example for this. I don't think there's really anything more widely known amongst the general public than in terms of what the production line was able to create in this country than the automobile. I mean, before Taylor and before Henry Ford's time, cars were just something for the ultra rich, and people built them in their garages. You had hundreds of little companies that might have built 10 or 20 cars a year. Taylor and with his philosophy, he was able to really kind of start the production line, having workers having specific jobs, having these workers become experts in a certain thing, and it was able to start the production line. Taylor, as an engineer, took a very engineer-like approach to how he managed his employees. Every task was done a certain way. There was no room for interpretation with anything. If you were a worker, and I'll keep using this Ford Motor Company as an example, if you were working in the Ford factory in the early 1900s putting together these Model Ts, you would have one specific job. You wouldn't be building the whole car by yourself. Your job might be putting on the driver's side front door, or attaching the bumper to the car, or installing the radiator under the hood. It'd be one really specific task you would have, and you'd be an expert at it. And there wasn't any interpretation. There wasn't, if we use these different types of bolts, maybe this will happen. No, there was one set way to do everything. There were studies done. Taylor would really analyze everything and look for, not for shortcuts more so in the production phase of things, but more so just shortcuts on saving time, being more efficient, having less waste, and being able to increase production and quantities of things produced. So Taylor really put that importance into having a set checklist to follow for all. It also helped too that if somebody quit, somebody was hurt on the job and was out of work for a while, someone died on the job, because we did see that a lot back then. Somebody took vacation for a month, and went out of town, and you had a temp worker or a replacement worker coming in. there was a set way for them to do things. They weren't told to figure it out. They just were able to jump in, and this was able to ensure that these companies in this early time, especially the ones that Taylor was overseeing and managing, ensure, they had steady pace, the work was accurate, everything was done correctly. You wouldn't have three different guys building cars and one guy sucks at his job and the car falls apart as soon as it leaves the lot. Everything was double checked here. And whatnot. And this was able to help kind of jumpstart the mass production of products in America, the late 1800s, early 1900s. Taylor died in 1915, so that was right around the time frame when he was coming up with this philosophy that like cars became mass produced. And stuff like that, and factories started popping up all around the country. And this scientific method as well, Taylorism, it rewards employees who work hard and achieve measurable results. If you built a certain amount of items on your little station in the assembly line in the factory, there was financial incentives for you. The more you built, the more you worked, the more production you had, the more you helped the company achieve its overall goal of production. There were incentives, and so that incentivized people to work hard and actually really care about what they're doing, what they're putting together, and so forth. So then we're going to jump over into Fayalism. Taylorism, there's not a whole lot to it. It's a pretty set list of ideas. Fayalism is pretty similar as well. It's got some differences and a lot of similarities. This is going to be the longest of the 6 that I talk about. I think I've got 4 or 5 slides on it. But yeah, it's commonly called, the administrative method is commonly called Fayalism. Like I said, it's kind of a trend to see the different methods named after their creators. And rather than putting pressure on the workers, this method puts pressure on management. In Taylorism, it's all about the workers. It's what can you get done. Here, it's about what can your team get done. And if management is not strong, the workers aren't going to be able to perform to the fullest of their abilities under them. And if the workers aren't good, then management has failed. It's kind of just the belief here. Fayol believed that good management controls outcomes, and to some extent, I agree with him. I think if you have a leader and somebody and a group can buy in to the common goal, I think everybody's better off for it. And so forth. And Fayol believed in 5 core fundamentals as well: planning, organizing, commanding, controlling, and coordinating. A lot of C ones there at the end. But just having all your ducks in a row, having everything organized, planned out, being strategic about what you do, not just throwing guys in there like Taylorism would just throw people in there and say, all right, get to work. This is more of planning out, making sure that everything is going according to plan, and having collaboration between management and other workers as well. Taylorism, there's kind of a set structure there. Your job is to assemble something. In Taylorism, you would do it, and you'd tell your boss if there was any issues. Here you go to management works with other management. You may have multiple bosses, multiple people that you answer to. So that's one of the differences, between Fayalism and Taylorism. Just kind of to continue on Fayalism. Following all 5 of these would ensure success in Fayol's eyes. He really believed in these 5 core fundamentals of management. And it promotes collaboration between management departments and managers, and it really promotes the idea that one group should be able to lift another group up. And I saw kind of in some of the sources I was looking at and some of the examples, companies are oftentimes departmentalized. Like you've got your finance and accounting department, you've got your sales department, you've got your marketing department, you've got your communications department, you've got your you've got more office stuff, and then you've got hands-on stuff as well. You're going to have people working in warehouses, people working on the assembly line as well. And If one department fails, if your finance department fails, it's going to hurt everybody else. Marketing's not going to be able to know what to do. Sales are going to suffer because your salesmen are going to be running around not knowing anything. And likewise too, if a product isn't marketed, the salesman can't do their job. Finance is not going to have anything to report on if you're not making sales, things like that. So it just kind of, it promotes the idea that these groups should be able to, lift each other up, go strive to make each other better and yourself better every single day. To be effective, you need top tier communication, time management, adaptability, and excellent leadership skills. And excellent leadership skills, I mean, that really just kind of reiterates the fact that Theism believes in strong management and whatnot. Adaptability, I mean, unlike Taylorism, you're doing one task. Adaptability, you might need to do, wear a few more hats than just the one, in order to, achieve company and organizational success. You've got to have time management, communication. I mean, these are two very important traits that are available, or that are required in a lot of things. If you can't communicate, how are you going to get anything done? If you don't have time management, again, how are you going to get any of your stuff done? You need to, be on top of that. But especially in Theism, there's really a high emphasis put on these four things.